Once upon a time in Anaheim, California, not far from the magical kingdom of Disneyland, a young boy named Austin Butler was discovered. It wasn't a grand, dramatic moment like in the old Hollywood movies. It was much simpler. He was just 13 years old, visiting the Orange County Fair. A representative from a background acting management company spotted him. They saw something in his face, a certain look that might work on camera. This chance meeting set him on a path he likely never imagined. It was the first small step on a very long journey. A journey that would eventually take him to the biggest stages in the world. He started taking acting classes to sharpen his skills and prepare for what might come next. His early roles were exactly what you might expect for a newcomer. He was a background actor, an extra. You could see him in the crowded hallways of high schools on Nickelodeon shows. He appeared on shows like Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. These were not starring roles. They were opportunities to be present, to observe, and to understand the rhythm of television production. For a young actor, this experience was invaluable. It was a practical education, teaching him more than any acting class ever could. He was patient, waiting for his moment to step out from the background and into the spotlight. That moment finally came. He started getting small, speaking parts. He appeared on DisneyChannel's Hannah Montana opposite Miley Cyrus. Then came a more significant role on Nickelodeon's Zoe 101. He played James Garrett, the love interest for Jamie Lynn Spears' character. Suddenly, he wasn't just a face in the crowd anymore. He was a recognizable figure to millions of young viewers. Teenage fan magazines started featuring his picture. He was becoming a teen heartthrob, a familiar face on the two biggest networks for young audiences. His star was clearly on the rise, and this was just the beginning of his ascent in the competitive world of television. This period was crucial for building his foundation as an actor. He proved he could handle more than just being an extra. He could deliver lines, create a character, and connect with an audience. As Austin Butler grew older, so did the roles he pursued. The world of teen television, with its bright colors and simple storylines, was something he needed to move beyond. He sought out parts that offered more complexity and depth. A significant step in this transition was his role in the CW's TheCarrieDiaries. This was a prequel to the iconic Sex and the City. Butler played Sebastian Kidd, the brooding romantic lead opposite Anna Sophia Robb's young Carrie Bradshaw. The role required him to be more than just a handsome face. He had to convey angst, charm, and a sense of longing, which he did with a quiet confidence that hinted at his potential. This period marked a deliberate shift in his career trajectory. He was consciously moving away from the teen idol label that had defined his early years. He started appearing in projects that were darker and more adult-oriented. He took a role in the unsettling thriller The Bling Ring, though his part was small. He also joined the cast of the fantasy series The Shannara Chronicles on MTV. This was a leading role in an epic show with swords, elves, and demons. It was a physically demanding part and showed audiences a different side of him. He was no longer just the high school love interest, he was an action hero, capable of carrying a major series. His ambition didn't stop with television. He set his sights on the stage, a place where an actor's talent is laid bare, without the safety net of multiple takes. In 2018, he made his Broadway debut. The play was The Iceman Comet, a challenging drama by Eugene O'Neill. He starred alongside the legendary Denzel Washington. This was a massive leap. It was a declaration that he was a serious actor, willing to tackle some of the most difficult material in American theater. His performance as Don Parrott, a lost and tortured young man, earned him critical acclaim. Working with a giant like Washington was a masterclass in itself, pushing him to new heights. This Broadway experience was a crucial turning point. It proved to his peers, to critics, and perhaps most importantly, to himself, that he had the range and dedication for serious dramatic work. It was also around this time that he appeared in Quentin Tarantino's film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He played Tex Watson, a member of the Manson family. It was a chilling, memorable performance, even with limited screen time. Then came the role that would change everything. Director BazLuhrmann was searching for the perfect actor to play Elvis Presley in his new biographical film Elvis. This was not just any role, it was an iconic, almost mythical figure in American culture. Many big names were considered for the part. Harry Styles, Ansel Elgort, and Miles Teller were all in the running. The pressure to find the right person was immense. Luhrmann needed someone who could capture not just the look of Elvis, but his soul, his voice, and his electrifying stage presence. The search was long and intense, a global hunt for an actor who could step into the blue suede shoes of a legend. Austin Butler wanted the part desperately. He felt a deep personal connection to it. His mother had passed away from cancer at the same age as Elvis's mother, 23. This shared pain created a strange and powerful bond for him with the music icon. He knew he had to do more than just a simple audition. He sent Luhrmann a video of himself singing. It wasn't a flashy performance of a big Elvis hit, it was a raw, emotional version of Unchained Melody, which he sang at a piano, thinking about his mom. This vulnerability and raw emotion caught the director's attention. It was different, it was real. Once he landed the role, Butler dedicated himself to it completely. His preparation was all-consuming. For nearly 3 years his life became Elvis. He didn't just study the singer, he tried to absorb him. He worked with vocal coaches to perfect the king's unique speaking and singing voice. He studied countless hours of footage to master every flick of the wrist, every curl of the lip, every iconic dance move. He isolated himself from his friends and family, immersing himself entirely in the world of Elvis Presley. His life, he has said, was put on pause. There was nothing else, only Elvis. This intense process was more than just imitation. It was a deep, psychological transformation. He didn't want to do an impersonation, he wanted to find the humanity behind the legend. He explored Elvis's hopes, his fears, and his insecurities. The process was so intense that it took a physical and emotional toll. When filming finally wrapped, he found it difficult to shed the character. His body, he said, started shutting down, and he was hospitalized with a virus that mimicked appendicitis. He had given so much of himself to the role that his own identity had become blurred. It was a sacrifice, but one that would soon pay off in ways he could never have imagined. When Elvis was finally released in the summer of 2022, the world saw the result of Austin Butler's incredible sacrifice. The film was a spectacle of sound and color, a classic BazLuhrmann production. But at its heart was Butler's mesmerizing performance. Critics and audiences were stunned. He didn't just play Elvis, he seemed to channel him. He captured the raw energy of his early performances, the charisma of his movie star peak, and the tragedy of his final years. It was a tour de force, a performance that went far beyond simple mimicry. People left the theater feeling like they had just spent 2.5 hours with the king himself. The praise was immediate and overwhelming. Suddenly Austin Butler was no longer just a promising actor. He was a major movie star. His name was on the lips of everyone in Hollywood. The film was a box office success, but the real story was the flood of awards nominations that came his way. He was recognized by nearly every major awards body. The journey that started with a simple audition tape had led him to the most prestigious red carpets in the world. He was now competing against the very actors he had looked up to his entire career. It was a surreal and validating experience for the former teen idol. The awards season became his victory lap. He won the Golden Globe Award for Best Actor in a Motion Picture Drama. In his acceptance speech, he was emotional, thanking the Presley family for opening their hearts to him. He also won the BAFTA Award for Best Actor, the British equivalent of an Oscar. The ultimate honor came with a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Actor. While he didn't win the Oscar, the nomination itself was a monumental achievement. It cemented his place as one of the finest actors of his generation. He had successfully climbed the mountain and reached the very top of his profession. The aftermath of Elvis was just as significant as the film itself. The role had a lasting impact on him, most noticeably in his voice. For months after filming, he continued to speak with the deep, southern drawl of Elvis Presley. It became a topic of conversation online and in interviews. Some found it amusing, while others saw it as proof of his deep commitment to the role. It showed just how much the character had seeped into his very being. The Elvis voice eventually faded, but the impact of the role on his career is permanent. He had proven his talent on the world's biggest stage, and now, a new chapter was about to begin. After the whirlwind of Elvis, the question on everyone's mind was, what's next? How do you follow up a performance that defines a career? For Austin Butler, the answer was to keep challenging himself with diverse and interesting projects. He didn't try to find another role like Elvis. Instead, he moved in a completely different direction. He took on the role of the villainous FeydRautha Harkonnen in DunePartTwo. This was a highly anticipated science fiction epic directed by Denis Villeneuve. The character was the polar opposite of Elvis, a bald, pale, and psychopathic killer with no redeeming qualities. His transformation for Dune was just as dramatic as his transformation for Elvis, but in a different way. It required hours in the makeup chair to create the character's terrifying alien look. He once again changed his voice and physicality, adopting a menacing and sinister presence. When the film was released, his performance was praised as another standout. He was completely unrecognizable, proving his versatility as an actor. He showed that he was not a one-hit wonder. He was a true chameleon, capable of disappearing into any character no matter how different from himself or his previous roles. This move was a smart and strategic choice for his career. Beyond the desert planet of Arrakis, Butler's future looks incredibly bright. He has already lined up several high-profile projects. He starred in the Apple TV Plus series Masters of the Air, a World War II drama produced by Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks. This project reunited him with the team behind Band of Brothers, another mark of prestige. He is also set to star in TheBikeriders, a film directed by JeffNichols, alongside Tom Hardy and JodieComer. He is consistently choosing to work with acclaimed directors and talented ensembles, surrounding himself with the best in the business to continue growing as an artist. Looking ahead, the possibilities seem endless for Austin Butler. He has successfully navigated the difficult transition from child actor to teen idol to serious dramatic artist, and now to a bona fide A-list movie star. He has the talent, the dedication, and the respect of his peers. He could return to the stage, tackle another complex biographical role, or lead a major blockbuster franchise. The journey that began at a county fair in Southern California is far from over. In fact, it feels like the most exciting chapters are just beginning. The world will be watching to see what this remarkable actor does next.